Hi Bev, it's Darlene. I thought I should invite you into my backyard since you invited us into yours at the beginning. So here I am in my backyard, which is on the traditional lands of the Blackfoot, the Siksika, the Tsuut'ina, the Stoney Nakoda, as well as Métis. It's so strange actually because I've never actually even thought about what lands my backyard are on before, but definitely being at railroads made me think even more about where I live and why I live here. And I definitely know that it's not by luck that um, my settler forefathers um, caused a great deal of strife and caused a great deal of sacrifice on the backs of Indigenous people in order for me to live here. So I truly do appreciate it, and I always celebrate when I hear about the progression of First Nations people here in Alberta. And yeah, so here I am back in my own backyard, continuing my learning and thinking back on what I learned in residence. And when I guess looking back to the beginning, one of the things I noticed right away was that um, my experience was pretty limited when it came to working in bureaucratic and hierarchical corporation structures. So that part of it was really kind of new to me, but it was really good because it made me realize the few times that I had worked in those situations, how those type of structures caused difficulties for me. I had a really hard time making it work and really even understanding what was at play. And so now I feel like I'm armed with some new knowledge where if I was in that situation again, I would have a much better ability to identify what was going on and have some real strategies to work within that structure. However, I don't really anticipate that happening anytime soon. So, what I did think about a lot was how, even when we were talking about working within organizations, how that would apply to me working as a freelancer. I pretty much work with new teams all the time. I'm getting new clients all the time. I work with a variety of business people or partners in my work who hire me on or who I work with in partnership. So I have a variety of teams that I have to work on. So one thing I thought that I could really apply was Larson and Fasso's characteristics of effective teams. Even though I was talking about teams within organizations, the things that they talk about, like having good interpersonal relationships, creating trust amongst members, being approachable to feedback and criticism, which to me really comes back to invitational rhetoric that um, that we learned about in Virginia's class. I mean, all of those things I think were notions I had in my head before, but now I can concretely use them in my work. Um, so another thing that I thought about was the adoption curve model. I was thinking about how when we were talking about that adoption curve model, it was more in relation to large scale change across a company or organization, but really it could apply to so many situations. It could even just be team project management, or in my case, right now, I'm working with a guy on his web content and he's really resisting changing what's on his website. So I feel like if I take it back to the bottom level of that curve model and talk to him about where he's at, what he wants to do, come to some kind of common understanding, basically enact that engagement, and then get to a place where we both agree on where we're going, that we're going to get through getting his web content done a lot faster. So that's my plan, is to go back to this guy and rather than just try to write web content, send it to him, I'm going to try to come back to him and come to some kind of understanding. And I basically took that from the adoption curve model. And so the last thing, really important takeaway I took from OrgComms was working as a freelancer is I need to incorporate this year. And the other thing I need to do is really hike my rate. And people have been telling me for years that I don't charge enough. And I come from a realm of journalism where the pay is very low. And so for me, I'm quite kind of hesitant, I guess, to charge a lot of money, and but I feel like you saying it was kind of the final push I needed to realize that I need to acknowledge, what I offer and what the going rate is, and to basically charge more and move my career up. So, thank you, and I guess that's it for me, and I'm hoping that we will stay connected through the years. Thank you. Bye.